All right, we have some breaking news. We have just seen an intentional display of racism from the Vice President of the United States while giving a press conference in Los Angeles and trying to spin a narrative about immigration being out of control. Now, the Trump admin is trying to use this narrative they're spinning as a pretext to further mobilize the National Guard, further mobilize troops, and escalate tensions all across the United States. We cannot let that happen, and especially when J.D. Vance visits LA and brazenly says racist things about sitting senators. Because as J.D. Vance was trying to talk about Senator Alex Padilla, the man who was forcefully detained and removed for asking a simple question just a week ago.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary.
And let me remind you, the Department of Homeland Security immediately came out and tried to spin their own narrative by saying that Senator Padilla never said his name, never said he was a senator, and charged the stage. Watch one more time and let me know if he never said his name.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary. Because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
There were multiple points in which he was just standing there trying to finish his question, and they continued to manhandle him and push him back after he said his name and that he was a senator. But I guess J.D. Vance wasn't paying attention, or he decided to intentionally get Senator Alex Padilla's name wrong. He said that Senator Alex Padilla's name was Jose Padilla. That's insane. Jose Padilla. It's like this Republican strategy of racializing Latino leaders, casting doubt on their legitimacy, or trying to turn them into caricatures. It's not a coincidence that J.D. Vance chose the name Jose. He's trying to make this smug, cheeky joke as he's visiting Los Angeles and trying to escalate tensions. That is what they do. And in this clip, he also tries to imply that Democrats play too much political theater when Trump is the one. Like, if I open his Truth Social right now, Trump is the one who has tweeted over the past hour multiple all caps posts about Fox News and failed TV personalities and TV ratings. This dude is a definition of doing political theater, yet when multiple Democratic leaders, from Senator Alex Padilla, when Brad Lander, the New York comptroller, or when other people are just arrested outside an ICE facility, apparently that's somehow political theater. Let me play the clip and notice that he says Jose, but the name is Alex Padilla. Know the name, Senator Alex Padilla.
Democrat lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump. When all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country. And
nope, we cannot let them use that narrative. Nobody is standing up for drug cartels or criminals. We're standing up for, first and foremost, due process. Secondly, we're standing up for you not surgically targeting hardworking people who not only are working at nail salons or elementary schools or work sites, but people who are weeks away from having their court date. People who are arriving at court for their day, the day they've been waiting for, will be targeted by ICE. And it's sick. It's vile. That is what we're working against. And Governor Gavin Newsom immediately said, J.D. Vance served with Alex Padilla in the United States Senate. Calling him Jose Padilla is not an accident. I totally agree. And it's, again, a part of this broader strategy to just cast doubt on the legitimacy of Latino leaders. And what you see, again, is J.D. Vance trying to spin it as if Democrats are defending criminals. Donald Trump does the same thing in this clip.
Mr. President, do you think deportations should focus on criminals or all people who are here illegally?
Should start focusing on criminals, and that's what we've been focused on. Very bad criminals, dangerous criminals.
That is not what you've been focused on. That was Donald Trump today, leaving the golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey. This was on the tarmac in New Jersey. And he was trying to say that they only have been targeting criminals. Not true. You have targeted people who do nothing but have a family and work. And we can prove that. They have no criminal history whatsoever, case after case after case. You're even targeting just like people with student visas. They've been targeting universities and stripping away visas en masse. Here's J.D. Vance continuing to spin.
People have been egged on by local officials. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, by treating this city as a sanctuary city, have basically said that it is open season on federal law enforcement.
Open season on federal law enforcement. Nobody has said that. First of all, the LAPD, Governor Gavin Newsom, and state officials all said we don't need the National Guard. We don't need the National Guard here. Trump is the one who allowed it to be open season on law enforcement when he pardoned J6ers en masse, many of whom assaulted police officers on January 6th in a very, very violent way. That is open season on law enforcement, not small scattered protests in LA that then turned bigger only because the Trump admin escalated. By the way, if you made it this far in the video, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. We are building something really special here. Let me know, do you think J.D. Vance did this on purpose? Do you think it was an accident? Do you think it was a mistake? Or do you think Jose is just his go-to placeholder when the right wants to mock or dehumanize Latino Americans? Let me know.
They have treated Border Patrol and border enforcement as somehow an illegitimate force instead of what they are, which is the American people's law enforcement trying to enforce the American people's law.
Dude, we'll treat them like an illegitimate force when they're acting in illegitimate ways, when they are subverting the rule of law, when they are subverting due process, or when they're targeting people at courthouses. Like ICE will go wait and camp out and wait at courthouses for somebody to come to their hearing so they can do everything the right way, and then they'll snag them. They will just snag them, which is disgusting, and it creates these perverse incentives. Did you guys see my video the other day about 2 military sons who went to the courthouse to protect their mom because they were worried that she would just get deported? And again, if we open Trump's Truth Social, they always talk about Democrats being radical, protecting criminals, and doing political theater. But you open Truth Social, and Trump is attacking Jerome Powell, calling him a numbskull, saying he wants to fire him. I'm not even going to read all this. Nobody's going to read all this, bro. He sent out 3 of these long-ass posts. He then begins to attack Jessica Tarlov and Jesse and Greg. He praises. Insane stuff. He's been attacking Fox News all throughout the week because of polls. But I guess I just want to end this off by saying this is a part of a larger pattern where the GOP tries to, I don't know, make smug, racist jokes and then cover it up as if it was a gaffe or an accident. It wasn't a gaffe. It kind of just follows the Trumpian playbook. J.D. Vance and all the other sitting Republicans, like Marco Rubio, wasn't this crazy 10 years ago, but he has somehow absorbed all of the worst qualities of Donald Trump, and now they all just dehumanize and dismiss and, are demean people in dangerous ways. If you can't call a sitting senator by his right name and you try to erase his identity, why do you think that we should give you any respect? And I'll leave that question there. If you appreciate the videos we make, if you appreciate what we do, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace out.